blessings to you. My name is Jere B. I am the EntreMusician, and so is the beautiful, wonderful young EntreMusician sitting right here to my right. Her name is Ginetta, and wow, we have a lot to talk about. But before we do that, let's do this. As you know, all of our videos are sponsored by Vocal, which is the only beverage on the planet designed to soothe, refresh, and restore your voice. If you talk all day or sing all night like Ginetta sometimes does, then you definitely want to get Vocal. Go to drinkvocal.com. Now, here's the way I want to start this, because of some technical difficulties, is our second go-round on this interview. So not only is Ginetta an excellent EntreMusician, an incredible trumpet player, she also has a heart of gold. Thank you for your patience, Ginetta. How you doing, dear?
I'm doing fine. Thank you, Jerry. It's nice to see you twice in 1 year when years go by and we never see each other. So
right.
In 2 weeks, it's nice to see you.
Well, thank you again for agreeing to come back on. I know your schedule is incredible, so for you to give me this time, I really appreciate that. Now, I need to ask you 100 questions because you're going absolutely everywhere. You are en route to Moscow, right?
Moscow first for playing for the United States ambassador, which I'm very excited about. He is a Utah billionaire who was the governor of Utah, and he seemed really one of the more circumspect Republicans. And I'm looking forward to Miss John Huntsman. We're playing for him at the embassy. Then we're flying overland 8.5 hours to the far east of Russia, called Vladivostok, to do a very intensive 8-day massive tour. We're going to hit the ground running, workshops, tours, interviews, and then we're culminating at the Vladivostok International Jazz Festival, which I'm very excited about.
That's excellent.
Yeah, a big wing-ding man, and in between all of that, dental issues and all kind of stuff. But things are working smoothly, give thanks, and it's all good. Last time we spoke, I said I was about to do root canal, so I'm all done with that, which was really stressful. And I feel if I got through that, my fortitude is okay, you know.
And you can play. I mean, it's not
give thanks. No impact at all. Everything is perfect. So
that's fantastic.
Yeah, so that's really the blessing. You don't want to go on tour with any pain, you know.
That's absolutely excellent. Now, you have an incredible band, Ginettas Vendetta. Now, who are you taking with you on the road for this upcoming?
Well, this is a dream, because these are not guys that I sometimes work with them intermittently, but to have them all together, I have a great guy who was actually born in Russia, Ilya Lushtak. I call him the Russian Frank Sinatra because he's got the most beautiful voice, but also just an amazing guitar player.
Wow.
Then Belden Bullock, an African-American bass player I've known only about a year, which is interesting, but an amazing guy. And then the phenomenal Marcello Pelletieri, whom I recorded my really super smash first straight ahead jazz CD with. He's on my standard CD, which is at the top of the Jazz Week charts, in the top 20 for like 9 weeks. So that's Marcello on drums. My rhythm section is really superlative, and so that's all I'm taking. I didn't realize that these U.S. Embassy tours sort of have, there's no budget limitation. I could have added a sax player, which would have been really cool.
Ooh.
I didn't know. I'm so accustomed to promoters chiseling you down, you know what I mean?
Right.
So I didn't, but it's going to be good. So there's just us four. It's going to be great.
So this is not your first international tour, though. You know, you've toured internationally. So some of the places that your beautiful trumpet has graced, fill us in.
Well, like I say on the website, on the homepage, it's like from Jakarta to Beirut, from Paris to Mexico, from Canada to, you know, Las Vegas, all points in between, and also all over the Caribbean and South America. So, but this is my first trip to the, I guess it's not called the USSR anymore, but I'm really excited because I can't wait to see Red Square, and also I'm just really excited because my job is the ambassador of, I consider myself an ambassador of goodwill, much like Louis Armstrong, you know, so.
Absolutely.
He was amazing, man. He didn't get into politics, but he stood up for segregation. Him and Frank Sinatra were really at the forefront of saying, if my band can't come in the front door, I'm not coming.
Absolutely.
And Louis Armstrong, back in the 30s, man, was he was really unbelievable. I'm getting chills just talking about him, because even to the day he died, I had a friend of mine who was regaling me with a tale of Louis Armstrong, his last concert. He was sick as a dog, but he didn't want to disappoint his fans.
Yes,
And
yes.
so 2 weeks before he died, and just his happiness. And a lot of African Americans back in the day didn't, I don't think they appreciated his image because they felt it was, I don't know, Jere,
Sure.
did you think? What is your opinion back in the day of him? Didn't they think he was maybe a, I don't know, a caricature or
Yeah,
something?
absolutely. Especially some of the younger musicians. I mean, I'm a history buff and I watched a lot of Louis Armstrong documentaries, at least the stuff that I had access to. And
That's
one of the
right.
things was that the younger musicians, they were really breaking through the shuffle and the smiling and all of that.
Catch it kind of
Yeah,
vibe, you know what
they
I mean?
thought
They
that.
want to disabuse themselves and distance themselves
Sure,
from that.
sure. But, for humanity and for him seeing both sides of the spectrum and his just humanness made him who he is. And
And he's
I could really go down a rabbit hole as far as even my own family is concerned because I am on both sides of the track, even from where my father comes from and my mother comes from. Very much urban on the paternal end and
right.
thinking one way, especially during the 65s, 67 Civil Rights Act. And then my
Oh,
mom coming from the Deep South and just how those two worlds kind of collide sometimes.
oh, that's a serious dichotomy. Yeah,
Absolutely.
man. I can assume your dad was not on the same page with Louis Armstrong, who he probably considered a sellout, which is a lot of, because again, I can't speak from there. I'm
Sure.
only speaking from the sense of him being all about love,
Yeah.
which I really just, and it was joy, So I try not to get into the politicals because that's what I tell everyone. I discuss neither religion or politics. My job is merely to entertain, and I feel just not just as a musician, but an entertainer because it brings people joy, and through joy is peace. So that's really basic, the
That
bottom line.
that's incredible because I mean, music itself is spirit, and music is a unifier. And if you even look in the days of Motown, how they had the audiences segregated, but by the time that either
At
say
the end of the concert, man, or the end of that era, it was like, heck no, they couldn't contain it.
right, so music has that way of slicing through the crap. You know what I mean, and getting to the heart, into the spirit of the
That's
person.
correct. That's right. Maybe when the music stopped, they all looked at each other like, what the heck?
We
I love it.
we could talk about that, and that'll have to be for another interview. But the one
Another one.
thing,
You want to question it, right?
and there will be a third and a fourth. But the one thing
Okay.
I am so intrigued with you. I mean, as you know, Sound Doctrine has had an opportunity to kind of intertwine with Ginettas Vendetta. Saw you guys in Baltimore. I think that's when I first fell in love with you. Just really took the crowd. I think it was Lexington Market, and you
Oh my
took the.
God, that place is the bomb,
It's the
man. We
bomb.
love it.
And you guys took the crowd like there. And you just held court. And then I think it was 2006, 2007. We were your backing band, right? For Soul Patrol. And,
That's
and
right.
I have to
The
tell
Soul
this
Pro
story.
Awards. Remember? Oh, I loved it.
It was great, so many shout outs to Bob. I know you won a Soul Patrol
Yes.
award. We were blessed to win, I think, back in 2002, 2003. But when they had the award ceremony, we had the opportunity to dialogue, and that's when I found out that Ginetta is a certified germaphobe. Do you remember that? I mean, here's the
Hey,
thing.
you know what? I'm bringing my own mic and my mic cover and my spray. The guy said you should bring your own mic. I said, and how?
It was beautiful. I'm sitting back on the drums. We're ready to kick it off. We're just waiting for your cue,
Uh,
and the first thing you do is microphone maintenance. And I thought this is fantastic.
and now, in the interest of time and efficacy, in order to speed it up, I now travel also with that foam rubber thing you could just put on the
There
mic
you go.
because that I can just spray and take with me but this time the guys asked me in Russia to it would behoove you to bring your own mic
There
because
you
we
go.
don't know we'd be singing through orange juice cans and a string. I don't know what's going on over there. The guy just texted me with some alleged tech info. I was like, oh dear, man, we're missing symbols.
Wow. Well, tell us how you came to take Harlem by storm. I mean, because you
Oh,
guys.
Yeah, I love Harlem, man. We work up there all the time, so we got a steady gig at the Harlem Tavern.
Yeah, Harlem Tavern, that's it. Now, how did you happen upon New York? You were born and raised there.
Yes, born and raised. That's
You're,
correct. I'm the original New Yorker, the native New York. I keep threatening to redo that tune. Remember when we were kids?
right.
She's a native New Yorker.
You'd be perfect at that. Your trumpet would be
I
right on
gotta
point.
redo it, man. I'm gonna do a jazz version. But
2019,
anyway,
2019.
yeah,
Now, your
correct.
father was an incredible influence on you.
Yes, he was. Yes, he was, Jerry.
Tell
Give
us that.
thanks. He's still around, 95. God bless him. And just inspired me to listen to the jazz greats. When I decided to play trumpet in fourth grade, from there on in, he paid for my lessons with the amazing Ted Curson, who was a trumpet player and one of the first trumpet players to use pocket trumpet back in the 70s.
Wow.
And then he encouraged me to listen to everyone. He'd always call me, when Channel 13 was showing the trumpet players, but I also love Sonny and Cher, and all those kind of gals. So my approach to music is based on showbiz and obviously talent, So it's yeah, Pop is a real influence. He's really happy I'm going to Russia because when I actually majored in Russian years ago when I was at the North Texas State University, which is one of the best music schools.
Yeah.
So I'm getting to use my talents all over.
Oh, that's fantastic. Now, so do you have siblings who were involved in music as well, or were you the only one?
Played something growing up, and we used to give these cool soirees. My brother was a piano player. My other brother played cello. My sister played flute. But I was the only one who stuck. It's a very tough business, and it's not for the faint-hearted.
You're right. Now, so how did you become a band leader? Tell me that
Oh,
story of you stepping from the shadows to the
yeah.
front of the stage. Because let me say this while you're thinking about the answer. What you do on stage when you front a band, you front the band. I mean,
That's right.
you just slice it. It's all absolutely on point. Tell me the story of you stepping from the shadows to the front of the stage.
Well, first of all, I was never in the shadows, and that was the problem with 90% of the band leaders. I was always still the spotlight. So I said, you know what, enough of this, because I had some of the craziest band leaders in the world, and so I was writing a lot of stuff, so I formed Ginettas Vendetta in 1993. We were celebrating our 25th anniversary.
Wow.
Oh, my God.
Wow.
And so I did 2 original CDs, which were very well met, and it was more of a hard-hitting kind of funky, sort of a Crusaders vibe, And then after all of that, and steady touring and playing all over, I said, let me do a jazz CD, because these guys in New York, they think I can't play jazz just because I'm not. So I put out a smoking jazz CD,
Yes,
and then
you did.
as I move towards aging, I find I love the sort of the coolness of jazz because of it. Dynamically, it's a little less hard hitting.
Yeah.
I love a good funk pop, right? I like it when the drummer sets down his freaking pocket like you know what I'm saying?
Right. Right.
But I mean, I move more toward a straight ahead thing and a little more some of the classic standards, so I love it.
Tell me about
I became
standards.
a band leader because I couldn't stand all the crazy band. I just couldn't stand it. I saw everything they were doing wrong, and I said, I will never do that. So I treat my guys pretty well. I pay them straight up front. I'm always, I do a lot of the things that I didn't want done to me. I always try to do the right way.
And so that gets us into the roadmap of the EntreMusician. So what does EntreMusicianship mean to you? I mean, the last time that we talked, you told me about some of the things that you learned along the way, from the business end, from being the band leader, from having to oversee everything in the studio. I mean, give me that 2-minute version of Ginetta as the EntreMusician.
Well, entree in itself means to sort of include all, right, Jere? I think that was your implication. So I always say I'm one part MacGyver, one part mother hen, and one part diplomat as a band leader. Because how many times on a gig you miss one little critical piece of gear and you're putting things together with duct tape
Right.
and freaking rubber band, just to get the show going. And then you got to really kind of massage everybody's egos to get them up there. Then you got to pay them, you got to take care of them, and then also you have to be the diplomat between the promoter and or club owner who wants to tell you they didn't do right, and instead of saying I'm going to shake you upside down or steal all your liquor,
Right.
you got to say what can we do so my guys can get paid.
Exactly right.
I
Exactly.
mean, back in the day, I had a band called Ninja, and I had this boyfriend who was, I mean, looking back, he was a criminal. So, I mean, I remember this club, they didn't pay us. And so Alley Boy just stole all their liquor. I said, okay, I don't think we'll ever play here again, but
You guys you got paid. To say.
we got paid either way. Then there was another time where I told the guy, my brother was there. My brother's a little crazy too, and this was years ago. Now I'm a kinder, gentler Ginetta, but I pulled the club owner over and I said, you have waiters here who have tips, so you're going to either pool their cash, run to the bank. I don't care what you do or how you do it. I got to pay my guys.
Right.
And so I've always gotten paid, so that's really a blessing. So being a band leader is really a whole bunch of hats you're wearing.
Tell me about the producer's hat for you when you're in the
Oh,
studio. That's a whole
oh
nother
my!
dynamic.
I mixed all of my records with the help of engineers and Mr. Rod Shepard, who really helped me with many of my records over there in Jersey. And I'll tell you, I tell everybody, mixing a record is so lengthy and stressful. It's like birthing a kid. It's really and I remember reading about something about Miles who said, I never listen to myself once I've heard it.
Right.
And he's right.
Right.
I never want to hear it again.
Right. Yeah.
I do not hear it again. But that is a whole nother kettle of fish, which people have no idea about.
Now on the Standards album, though, you guys you didn't do many overdubs. It was just a
No,
straight through, right?
straight up, one mic hanging over. It was beautiful, man. We did one take of everything.
Wow.
It was so. Same thing with the second CD, Little Bighorn.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful job. We did a tune which even to this day I don't even play on the bandstand anymore. Sidewinder. I'm thinking, geez, I played the hell out of that.
And one take, bam, bam, bam.
It was one take because I use guys that the caliber of these guys. You got them for 4 hours. That is it. If you do one take or one song, and I always have a list. When I go in the studio, I'm very, very well prepared like every other time. Everything's written out, who's taking the solo, what are the tempo, what this and that, where are we going to the bridge. And, so we just go down the list. But 4 hours is up, man. They're gone.
Wow.
You don't mess around with it. They're packing up.
It's done.
It's done. That's all you got. You're paying them for that amount of time, and that's it. So I always have to, you got to really be, you got to really take care of business.
So crazy question. Do you play in the studio when you record? Do you have your bracelets on?
Oh, of course. This is all part. This is part of every single recording, man. I remember I used the keyboard, one of the greatest keyboard players in New York City, John Davis. He said, Ginetta, that sounds like a rummage sale. Or what did he say? Like this, a garage sale. I said, dude, whatever you think is on it, I'm using this. This is my, so you'll hear it on, I think it's Blue Bossa or whichever tune I recorded on Little Bighorn. You can always hear. Also, you hear it on Stolen Moments. You'll hear it at the top of the tune or at the end of the tune. So yeah, and also on my original CDs, you'll hear it. Caribbean Lullaby, it's there.
Right. Now
that is a true Ginetta original. If you don't hear the bracelets, that's not me playing.
Copycat. It's not Ginetta's Vendetta. Now,
no.
Last time we were together, you told me about your worst gig. Now, being that you're just coming from a dental situation.
Yeah, this freaking person bumped me on a boat, and I'm only coming back from the injury now, and I'm going on tour 4 months ago. So that was the worst gig ever. It was July 4th, and it was a nightmare. So that was my worst ever gig. May it never happen again.
May it never happen again. Absolutely.
Thank you.
Now, the best gig ever, and you've done 122,000 of it.
Yes, I have.
But the best gig ever, the one that stands out all the time, that this was the juice right here. What was that?
Well, that was a gas when we were at that Soul Patrol. That was a swinging because number one, we were outside, and I
Yeah.
love the heat.
Yeah.
I don't like air conditioning. Number two, I just love that summer vibe. Well, there was a great gig at the Jamaica Ocho Rios Jazz Fest with a swinging band. I love to. That was great. And also in Jakarta, when I saw that, I was co-headlining with Tony Monaco, who is, they call him the B3 man. He's like Jimmy the Lion Smith, but about 50 years younger, and he's amazing. So when I saw the size of the stage, I told you this, I think it was so massive.
Right.
I had to come down this freaking, I had like 6-inch heels on, a really short skirt, and I needed help getting down the, I guess they had a ramp to the stage. I was like, dude. And the stage was so high that the skirt was so short. I said, I really can't go near the edge of the stage.
Right.
It was really amazing. I'm sure they have a recording of that somewhere. But
but that evening was on point, though. That was one of the best.
Great. Yeah, a lot of there's a lot of stress involved, but ultimately once you start playing and your chops are okay, it's all right, man.
Now, tell me this. What are you telling the younger Ginettas, the younger EntreMusicians that are coming behind you? What is your advice? What are you giving them?
Well, when I go on tour, I often give workshops in conjunction with that, and one of them is how to be a better professional. So I always tell folks, it's not just about your chops. That's really the last thing. That thing, you got to sew that up. But then it's about your attitude, your punctuality, your preparedness, and how you approach things. So I'm very strict about how to be a better professional. I'm trying to find out if I have my thing here. And so that's one of my classes that I give, which is it's pretty long. And there's another one that I'm working on, which is, so that's the first one, how to be the better professional. Then your dedication to craft, I call it the 4 Ds. Discipline, desire, dedication, discipline, dedication, and determination. So first your desire, then your discipline. You need to be disciplined. Absolutely. Dedication, and that means dedicated to all things music, not just your chops or your musicality.
Yeah. And
then determination, and that is where most people give up.
Yeah.
Because determination is after a series of hard knocks or a slow year or a bad period, you must get back up and continue. So those are the 4 Ds. I teach those also, the 4 Ds. And there's another one that I'm just starting to work on now, which is band leading 101.
All right.
And it says how to be a diplomat, mother hen, and a MacGyver all rolled into one. So
Well, here's one thing that I don't think you can teach or pass along, and it's only because I've seen it firsthand a few times as we've witnessed Ginetta's Vendetta in action, and that is you cannot teach style. You have an incredible style, and you can't really say this is how you do it because that comes from your spirit. You're flying around the stage,
That's right.
You're singing, you're engaging the audience, your hair is going every which way.
Yep. That's my hair. Here it
That's
is.
right.
I never let it out. I take it for a walk unless we're on stage, and then it's part of my prop. But that's right. You can't teach that. That's also called star. We used to call that. They would say that's like star power or some sort of, And also, I'm on stage. I can also do stuff off the cuff. Because we've all had hecklers, and so I try to just keep it in the moment and try to remain. Make everything sort of funny, so that's something you can't teach,
Absolutely. Well, you are incredible in every way. I mean that wholeheartedly. I have so much respect for you. I'm so grateful that you gave me time again today as you're preparing for this wonderful tour. And so you can tell me, after you come back from Moscow, what's next? What can we look forward to? 4 CDs already. What's on the horizon 2019?
Well, we need a new CD because I haven't put one out in a while. So I don't whether it's I keep threatening to do a smooth jazz one because I met so many amazing smooth jazz girls and guys. out on the West Coast. I mean, Gail Johnson is a
Oh, yeah.
phenomenal piano player. Rick Palmer, great sax player. Dean Gresham, amazing guitar player. Or there's a lot of women in the smooth jazz too. My girl Paula Atherton, who was a sax player, but I've never. I keep threatening to do that, but I don't know. It could be part live, part. I just don't know. I just know that I got to record some more stuff. It could be a combination of original and covers, whether or not it's a smooth jazz genre. I don't know, but hopefully something, Jerry. I mean, I have a guy who gives me advice, and he keeps saying, Ginetta, you got to get a record out. So I guess I have to manifest the I guess, what type of record I want first.
Absolutely. Well, here's hoping that there's a collaboration with this guy in Ohio, as we.
Monaco. Oh, my God. You got to look him up, man. He is unbelievable.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Tony, I got to say hi to him, man. It's so funny because when we first met in 2015, it's just he's just an amazing guy. He goes to the Java Jazz Fest every year because he's also the house organist, and those jam sessions in the Hotel Borobudur are legendary. Mm-hmm. That's where I met Kamasi Washington, who right after that blew up. Yes. Kamasi is a tenor player, man, who is now like the high priest of jazz. Right. and monster player and the nicest guy. So really an amazing. I'm hoping to get back to Jakarta. So, and that's a great idea to collaborate with Tony, man.
Absolutely.
And also with you, Jerry. We got to do stuff through the. We could just do it, like you said, over the internet.
Absolutely. I work with musicians like that all the time. So a WAV file is a WAV file. Dropbox it, load it into your computer, and send it back.
That's right. That's correct.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for your time. Many blessings to you.
Thank you.
Be safe.
Thank you.
And enjoy Moscow.
And Vladivostok and beyond. This is called the Diplomatic Immunity Tour 2018. Yes.
You did that. You named it that.
Yes, I did, of course. I name all my tours, man. Let's just hope I don't have to shout, I have diplomatic immunity. Let me out! Love you, Jeff.
We'll get you out. Love you so much. Many blessings to you.
Thanks a lot, sir. It was really a pleasure.
Absolutely.
Okay.
My name is Jere B. I'm the EntreMusician, and so is Ginetta. Blessings to you.
Okay, bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.